could you share your experience in expanding your business to international market and any strategies you found particularly effective in reaching a global customer base?
Yeah. So, let me say, first of all, I feel the time has come for India, where every entrepreneur has ambition to create product or service which is from India for the world. So that is actually fantastic. But also so that is one thing. Second is, please keep in mind, if you are a venture capital funded firm, company, articulating international expansion is a double-edged sword, right? If you talk too soon about international expansion, your investors may conclude that do you don't have like a product market fit in India? Because India is a $3.5 trillion economy now, right? For every category, there's a lot of potential. So if you talk about international very soon, and let's say you have a domestic market, but you start talking about international expansion very soon, investors will very likely conclude that you see some problem. Either competition is very severe, or your product is very high and it may be better suited for higher GDP per capita countries, or you are seeing or maybe you are you don't have much headroom to grow in India. So you have to keep these three things in mind. Barring that, I would say, market mapping in terms of, which country do you want to go? Why? What are the demographics? What are the channels? Right? Will you go in one go with all your product and offering, or will you go in a phased manner? The day one on international does not have to be let's say how much maturity you have in your India operations, right? It still has to behave, that operation still has to behave a little bit like a startup rather than a fully mature company. So be ready to make your set of mistakes there, right? And also have a framework in terms of, do you want to go solo? Do you want to go through a joint venture? Or do you want to give a right to operate, have a representative office and right to operate to someone, right? And another thing you have to keep in mind is, will you or any of your team members temporarily or permanently be located in the market, right? And you have to also think about what other things can you handle without being in that country, right? So what other things you can handle without being in that country is what you start with, in my view.
We are interested in developing an integrated platform for all EV needs. Can you share insights on how to approach integration with other service provider in this context?
EV is an interest area, even for me and Room. Happy to spend more cycles. Again, you can easily find me on Twitter or LinkedIn and reach out to me. But your question is a little bit too generic and too broad. So I need to really understand more. But typically, if you have a partnership-based ecosystem or service providers, it has to be technology enabled, in my view. Second is, it need to be self-service. Third is, it has to be a win-win for everyone, right? And you cannot have a conflict of interest with two different parties, right? Those are I know I'm saying it at a very generic level, but those are some building blocks, right? I mean, if you look at, like, let's say Fit Room, we have one partnerships we have is India's largest supply of automobile coming from 24,000 dealers in 1,175 cities. Second partnership we have is 15,000 plus auto mechanic. None of them are on our payroll, can inspect any used vehicle anywhere, anytime, using any device, but following our proprietary methodology. Next we have is a layer of loan and insurance, where we have partnered with a lot of companies for loan and insurance. These could be banks. Within banks, it could be domestic bank, private bank, foreign bank, right, etc. Small bank, large bank, conservative bank, aggressive bank, or NBFC, right? And then we have all different type of other service providers. Some sell helmets, some sell car care and detailing, some sell repair and maintenance. So, but it is very cost heavy. It is time heavy. It takes time, right? So I'm happy to spend more cycles But as I mentioned, number one, what you are describing, at least based on your nature of a question, it has to be technology enabled. Second is, as I'm repeating myself, but it has to be win-win for everyone. Third is, you cannot have if you are a platform provider too, you cannot have a conflict of interest with other service provider you are empowering, right? And keep in mind, does not matter how much technology intensive you are, enabling disparate level of services will still be time consuming and cost consuming.
Could you offer key suggestions for second-time founders based on your experience and lessons learned?
Yeah, no, I think the biggest thing I would say is that the biggest thing, even for a second time founder, but also anything you repeat, is learn from your mistakes, right? It is okay to make mistakes. It is not okay not to learn from your mistakes. And even if you are making similar type of mistakes, it is not okay to make the mistake of the same magnitude, right? So this is my biggest things to, as a second time founder, actually, I would say that you know enough to be dangerous. So use that in your success story. And second thing I would say is, there's also a flip side, is do not kill the adolescence, right? A lot of time, when I was building Droom, I already had a one unicorn under my belt, lot of very relevant experience. So a lot of time in a meeting, I had an opportunity to go through in a meeting in a very organic manner, or behave like a grandfather, right? And if I had behaved like a grandfather, then the problem would have been solved much sooner, because all of a sudden you bring a experience of or maturity of a grandfather, rather than letting kids fight. But on the other hand, the learnings for others, they will be deprived of the learning, which will be always handy. So my suggestion will be, while you learn from your mistakes, but keep your business evolution second time as organic as possible, and do not kill the adolescence, do not kill the spontaneity, and do not take away the learning opportunities of others, because it may be the second time for you, but for many it may be the first time.
What is the right time to approach VCs?
See, there is no perfect answer in my view. Like this is, let me say, first of all, three things are toughest when you are entrepreneur, and none of them are, no education institute will train you for that, and a lot of your business acumen and anecdotes and training will be actually in fact opposite of that. So there are three things which are very difficult in my view building a startup. One is raising money. Second is, teaming up with the right people. And third one is thinking about what should be my org structure at the various stage of building a company. These three things are very, very tough in my view. So in terms of VC, what I notice, most people are looking their first round of capital, right? And they behave as if they need to have, a large team, office, product. Product is being bought by a lot of people. They are profitable. They are very scalable. They almost visualize a perfect company in their head, and that is what they think is the stage of raising the approaching VC. But let me say this way: the moment you say this is me and this is my idea, right? This is the market size, and this is how I'm going to disrupt. In my view, articulation of these four things, right? And a commitment that I want to do this, you, I think, earn the right to raise first round of capital, because you are challenging the status quo, right? Second is, you are saying, this is me, this is my idea, this is the size of the market, this is how I'm going to disrupt. I am here full time now, 4 months, and here are the other 3 team members who joined me, and we have this little tiny office. In my view, that is the second round of capital, right? Third round of capital is everything I just said, plus here is my demonstrable product. It's not perfect, but look, it works, right? Fourth round is everything I just said, plus here are the sign of traction. Here are the sign of early adoption. Here is a sign of I am achieving a product market fit, right? And that is when you go for the fifth round, when you say, I have done everything under the sun to achieve product market fit. Now I need to pump in a lot of capital to take it at a national level or expand categories, expand product, right? That is your fifth round of capital. Your next round of capital is when you say, I can be a category leader. This is how my margin will expand. This is how my geography will expand. This is how my categories will expand. And, I can grow 5x faster than the overall growth of this category or industry for the next 3 years, right? Now, this is what I just said is the sixth or seventh round. And most of the time, in my view, entrepreneurs suffer from delusion of grandeur, and they think their sixth or seventh round is how they need to sound when they approach VC. But let me say this way, articulation of dream in a 4K or 8K clarity is all is needed. And then is, of course, is a dirty and devil is in detail is an execution. But, how well can you articulate? How well can you identify a problem and opportunity? And how well can you articulate in terms of how you will capture it, what resources and people and money you need it, right? That is what you need, right? When you have large team, when you have up and running business, perhaps you don't even need investor, right? So keep in mind, entrepreneurship is all about risk sharing. You come up with the idea, passion, energy, commitment, and disruption, and someone is willing to actually fund it. And it's a very complementary partnership. But please match the funding you are raising with the stage of business rather than giving your arm and leg even for your first round of capital.
Very true. We have another question with respect to the debt financing from Anand Sundar, Orangewood Labs, saying many banks are reluctant to fund loss-making startups. Can you share your experiences and insights into debt financing for startups, especially when profitability is yet to be achieved?
See, in the last few years, India has made a clear, visible progress. The event like the one we are all participating today is an example of how India ecosystem is growing, evolving, and thriving, right? But so a lot of things now are possible were previously not possible, right? I'm not deeply expert, but there are a lot of banks who are obligated to give certain money to certain businesses at a certain stage, etc. There are a lot of good policies out there, but venture debt typically, while it is a venture debt, still I would say it is still, the people who provide venture debt are still very risk averse, and their risk has to be covered. So either you can get some debt as a percentage of the cash you have in your balance sheet, or some kind of collateral, right? Until then, in my view, venture debt is difficult. But if you assume that your business potential is huge, but it is underappreciated by the investor, and if you can raise some capital as venture debt rather than diluting yourself more with the equity, would be the right thing to do. And if I go into the financial theories, and there's something called cost of capital, weighted average cost of capital. So if you raise equity, it's not free, right? If you take loan, obviously there's an interest rate, right? Then there could be file charges, processing fee, and so on, and right, and the late fee, prepayment penalty, and so on. So no source of capital is free. As they say, there's no free lunch. But keep in mind, in the books of finance, the venture debt or a debt-based cost, a capital, the cost is considered to be lower than equity, especially if you're creating a very viable business. So it's a right thing to think about it. Banks, in my view, will be more conservative. Venture debt will be less, but both venture debt and bank will be more conservative than funding a loss-making business than an angel investor or a venture capitalist who's taking a complete risk, all or none, right? But when the word debt kicks in, it is never all or none. They will have a superior rights. If the company is going through liquidation, they will have superior right to get paid first. They will always, almost always, they will look for some kind of collateral. But if you have access to both equity and debt, and you think your business is underappreciated, go for debt. But if you think your business is suffering from a lack of access of capital, and you don't care whether it is equity or debt because you need to establish that more, then in my view, just see whatever is possible. Or also keep in mind, if you are creating a new age company, right, the loss making, I don't want to underestimate the better fundamentals, which is, it's always good to be profitable. It's always good to be making money. But keep in mind, the new age companies sometimes take many, many years to be profitable. But during that time, if you are scaling, growing, bringing disruption, bringing innovation, and your marginal revenue is better than your marginal cost, it is okay not to be profitable. But if your marginal cost is higher than your marginal revenue, and at that scale you are growing, you are essentially will be dissipated very soon, right? So I will not, I will not just, I will not look it as a stigma that I'm a loss making, so bank is not going to fund me, right? These kind of, the thing is, that type of capital, debt capital, will always come with some string attached. Always keep that in mind. Other than that, I would say, funding your business at a very crucial stage is more important than the source of capital.